I've reached some kind of other level after I've had 2 kids.
Yes.
After my life has gotten very big and my concerns have changed and what matters to me really has changed. And so I feel very lucky in a lot of ways that, you know, my life feels a lot bigger than this. And I have to imagine those younger actors, performers, artists, whatever, who hit it really big at 16, 17, 18, 19.
Yeah.
I have to imagine it's got to be very confusing and difficult, you know.
Prepare your ears, humans. Happy, Sad, Confused begins now.
Hey guys, it's Josh. Welcome to another edition of Happy, Sad, Confused. Today on the show, another first-time guest and a hell of an actor, Jeremy Allen White, talking Bruce Springsteen, The Bear, Star Wars, and so much more. Hey guys, thanks as always for tuning into Happy, Sad, Confused, watching, listening, however you're consuming this. I appreciate you guys. You can hear Lucy or see Lucy snoring a little bit behind me, so I'll keep it a little quiet. But this is a really cool one. Jeremy's been on the list for quite a while, as you might imagine, from Shameless, especially in The Bear, coming into his own as an actor, and now taking his talents to the big screen with some really cool opportunities. Really sweet guy. I think you guys are going to enjoy this conversation, and he absolutely kills it as Bruce Springsteen. Talk about a high degree of difficulty, and he really, really delivers. Before we get to all of that, some reminders. We do have some live events coming up I want to tease. And as always, you can check out all of our stuff on Patreon. And by the way, we are jamming with so many episodes, 3 a week right now. It's not going to last forever. I kind of like to go back to 2, even 1 a week for my sanity at some point. But right now, just an embarrassment of riches. So patreon.com/happy, sad, confused, now more than ever, really is delivering, because you're getting so much content, early access, the early word on upcoming guests, and access to our live events, including November 18th, Brendan Fraser. Brendan has never done the podcast. I know, I'm shocked too. We came close on The Whale. The timing just never quite clicked, and now it's finally happening, and I'm so excited. November 18th at 92nd Street Y, we are screening his excellent new movie. It is called Rental Family. Very sweet movie. He delivers another fantastic performance. And speaking of sweet, he is notoriously one of the nicest guys in the business. So I'm so excited to have a big old career chat with Brendan. So come on out if you can. As I said, discount codes are on the Patreon, patreon.com/happy, sad, confused, or the link is in the show notes, just to get tickets like a normal human being. Okay, Jeremy Allen White, let's talk for a second before we toss to the main event. He is starring as Bruce Springsteen in this new film, Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. I'm a big fan of this movie. This is not your standard issue biopic. This is a character study, a look at a guy kind of at a really interesting juncture in his career. This is not Bruce, on stage commanding, the attention of tens of thousands of people. There's a glimpse of that, but it's really about a guy wrestling with his childhood, his past, his issues with his parents, in particular his dad, but also figuring out what's next artistically at this really interesting point in his career. This is about really kind of the making of Nebraska, one of his seminal albums, if not the seminal work in his career. And like I said, big fan of this. And Jeremy, I mean, what can you say? The singing, the physicality, and just the lived-in performance. No surprise he delivers, because if you've seen him do his thing on The Bear and Shameless and so many other things, he's got the goods. And I think you're gonna fall in love with him in this conversation if you haven't already, because just the real deal. Another sweetheart of a guy. I really enjoyed getting a chance to finally have this long in the making conversation. So without any further ado, enjoy my chat and go see the movie. It's out in theaters Friday. I think by the time you're watching or listening to this, it should be out in theaters. See it. It's a really special one. Here's me and Jeremy Allen White. Why, look, it's Jeremy Allen White.
Hey, how's it going, man?
It's good to see you, buddy.
It's good to see you, too.
Appreciate the Yankee hat. I'm a big Yankee fan. So
Are you a big Yankees fan?
Born and bred New Yorker, Yankee fan through and through. You?
This is funny. I'm a Mets fan, and this hat has a little story. It's
Looks like it's been through something. Looks like
Well, this has been through something. So I have a Mets hat that's been through hell, and I wore it at Telluride. I've had it for a long time. I wear it all the time. And I saw Bruce a couple days after Telluride here in New York, and he said, "I saw your hat. It was pretty beat up. Reminded me of this hat."
Come on.
And he's had this hat for like 25, 30 years, and he gave it to me, so I've been carrying it around like a little good luck charm.
Yeah, the ancillary benefits of this one.
I know.
Insane.
They keep coming.
Okay, before we get into Springsteen, you've been on the list for a while. I've been chasing you, so thank you for finally succumbing to my request.
Oh my gosh,
Jeremy.
yeah, I'm happy to be here. I've listened to the show. I really like it.
I appreciate you,
Yeah.
man. I also feel like I've been circling you this week. I've run into Chris Storer twice
Oh,
this
nice.
week.
Yeah.
I hit up Austin. I wanted the dirt,
Nice.
and everybody gives me nothing. They're all like, Jeremy's the nicest man on the planet.
Oh man, yeah. They didn't give you anything, huh?
Literally.
Yeah.
So I'm out of luck.
Yeah. Sorry.
Is there anyone, am I hitting up the wrong people? Would anybody say you're an asshole?
I was
No.
gonna say something. I mean, you could talk to Eb, and I'm sure he'd give you something.
He's seen the
yeah,
dark side?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Do you get cranky on a set? Like, do you, like, does...
No, I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think what is upsetting to me on a set.
You know,
Like,
what's pet peeves
I mean,
for-
it's like, it's just simple stuff like being on time and
Yes.
knowing your line and all
The
that
basics.
stuff. But even still, like, no, I don't think I've ever like lost my cool on a set or anything.
Can I ask you a little bit about Austin for a second, just because I'm curious, because you guys are basically the same age, and,
Yeah.
you just shot together relatively recently.
Yeah.
That must be an interesting thing, because it strikes me also you've both gone through this kind of transition in your careers, a somewhat similar one in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Is that something you guys talked about and kind of clocked?
Yeah, almost immediately. Austin and I had met briefly, kind of prior to doing this movie together, and I've been an admirer of his for a while, and I think I hope to think vice versa. And we almost did this job together, and it didn't work out. So we were really excited to do this one, and we got to talking kind of immediately about this sort of like work-life balance,
Yeah.
and I was asking about his process with Elvis because I had just finished Springsteen, and he was talking about how much he gave to it, and I was kind of like, can you do that every time,
Right.
and because I was like, because I'm struggling too with like how you want to show up and you want to give it your all, but you also need to you need to be a person.
Yes.
And so yeah, that was like something we talked about frequently. I think is just can we do really good work without kind of like driving our personal lives into the
Compromising.
ground a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about like this one. So this is Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere.
Yeah.
I'll say it again officially. This film's great. You're amazing. in
Thanks,
it,
man. Thanks for saying that.
Truly, the degree of difficulty off the charts.
Yeah.
I don't know when this comes to you. I know you've said like this wasn't an immediate yes, only because.
Well, it's heavy, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah, it's it's Bruce Springsteen. I know how beloved he is, and rightfully so. And it's interesting too, like I think fans and audiences' relationship to specifically musicians is so intimate.
Yes.
And it's so personal. And, I didn't want to let anybody down. I didn't want to interrupt that relationship. But I think what helped was that, we're not telling Bruce's whole story. We're telling an important story and a very important period in his life.
Yeah.
And I think it was a real like crossroads sort of like moment for him. And so that gave me some comfort,
Yeah.
And then Scott Cooper, who I've admired for a really long time. It's funny, we met, a couple months before I ever read the script or knew anything about it. And I thought it was just kind of like a general, and we just talked about movies we liked and actors we liked, and then I left just saying I hope we find something one day, but I didn't realize he was just kind of like sussing me out the whole time, and then
Right.
2 months later I got the thing.
So he offers it to you. You say yes. Like in that interim period, or after you say yes, like do you go to the mirror and say like, do I buy this? Like I don't. I'm not a doppelganger for Bruce.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
Is this gonna? Our audience is gonna buy it. Am I gonna buy it?
Totally.
Because it's not the kind of thing where like you physically transform for Iron Claw in many
yeah.
ways. But like you can't really do that in the same way here.
Yeah, I mean, there were conversations. There was
Did you go down the road about like altering?
I talked about kind of like putting something in my mouth to maybe get my like jaw out, or and we did the contacts, and we were talking about wigs and all this stuff, and then it just got so busy, and I was just like, okay, maybe the best route, is an internal one, and then we can see, what that does for us, externally, ultimately,
Well, it does come through. I mean, it's, and I'm sure there are small things that I'm not even seeing. I've seen the film a couple times, but like, there's the voice, there's the way just you carry yourself.
Yeah, physicality.
I mean, how much game tape are you watching? I can only imagine for months you're literally on YouTube.
I had about 6 months, which is a lot of time, but not as much as you might like before you do something like this. Like I would have loved a year or more, but
it's probably diminishing returns. You're going to drive yourself insane at a certain point.
At a certain point, perhaps. Yeah. You're right. You're right. But yeah, no. There's there's a whole lot of footage, obviously, on Bruce. A whole lot of concert footage.
Yeah.
He's spoken a lot. I mean, he's been very honest, especially in the last couple decades, in promoting his book, Born to Run, and obviously, like that material in Born to Run was major. Warren's beautiful book, Deliver Me from Nowhere, which focuses on this period in time. And then there were a few performances in particular. There's one concert footage from Tempe, Arizona, that I really focused on, and that I kind of watched for the Born to Run piece at the beginning of the film. But it was also like there's more footage from that concert, and that was it was like 1980 or 1979. So that was just right in the pocket for the period that I was looking at. And then there was this great interview show, the Old Grey Whistle Test. I don't know if you're familiar with that at all. It was interviews that were mostly like post-concert. Yeah. And there was a great like 15-minute interview of like a 30-year-old Bruce, which is like right in the world. And so that was one I watched very frequently as well. Yeah.
Again, the many themes that I think the audiences are going to relate to on different levels. I mean, it's first from an artistic standpoint, it's very much a film about artistic integrity and what's important to you as an artist, which I would imagine, you have to kind of define that for yourself. I mean, when I say artistic integrity, what does that mean to you in terms of we talked about how you carry yourself on a set, so that's a no-brainer. But like, what is artistic integrity when it comes to like crafting a career for you think?
I think like, protection is one thing, You're protecting your own kind of perspective and point of view constantly. And then, I think I'm in a really privileged position now where kind of for the first time in my career, I have some options, and I have some choices to make. And I think, that's where it's this like, I think some actors can get a little confused. There's the question of art and commerce, and also, you listen to a lot of people saying, well, this is the next thing. Yes. And then sometimes you can trick yourself into going, oh yeah, maybe this is, even if your gut and your heart is telling you, you know what, maybe this one isn't for me. I need to be patient. I need to say no. I need to wait. I think that's a big part of it.
It's also very confusing because like the industry has changed so quickly. Like it's like what was like the obvious thing to do for an actor to like, earn your cred and like, be established is different now than it was 5 years ago.
It's totally shifted. There's not the same routes either. No. It's a totally different, especially for like a young actor and it's the paths are very different. Yeah.
It's also like, I've had this conversation with many actors over the years, and I always find it fascinating, that transition you're talking about of like when you have the opportunity and, to say no, like finally. Like, because actors, 99% of actors are just taking the best they coming at you.
Totally.
For their entire career.
Yeah, all the time.
And this is what you've been like fighting for and wanted your entire life. No pressure, Jeremy.
Absolutely. I mean, I have passed on things where 4 years ago I would have actually like killed.
Right.
And it's a very confusing situation where you're kind of walking around with like guilt and doubt almost at every turn. It's a very strange thing. Yeah.
So if I had to talk to you like year 8 of Shameless.
Yeah.
like, great gig.
Yeah.
Stable.
Yep.
Great actors around you. The material's good. It's a long gig, though. Like, at a certain point, were you like, maybe this is all there is? Like, I don't know if I can go to another level in terms of a career.
Yeah, I think I had a lot of that. We did 11 seasons of that show. I was 18 when we started. I was 30 when we finished. And I think, yeah, there was definitely a period, especially towards the end, where I was like, well, maybe this is what I had to give,
Right.
And I stopped thinking of it as, I would do a film or something in the hiatuses every once in a while, but nothing that really matched the sort of like size and reach of Shameless ever.
Yes.
And yeah, I had this concern that, am I an actor anymore, or am I like clocking in a little bit now? And I think it started to feel a bit like a job, and that was scary because, that's never what you want this to feel like,
right. So, okay, we're going to bounce around a little bit since we have the luxury of time. I'm going to go back to the beginning. You're a New York kid.
Yep.
Parents instill a lot of love in the arts for you? I mean, with film and TV, or just generally museums, the whole thing? Like,
yeah, generally, my folks, they were actors.
Right.
That's how they met. They lived on the Upper West Side, and my dad saw my mom in a show and went out and got her flowers in intermission, and they got together. And
there are the flowers. There's the key.
The flowers. There's the acting. There's the flowers.
We found the origin story.
Exactly.
This is like a therapy session.
I know.
I just unlocked something
for you. We're figuring it out.
You're welcome.
We're figuring it out. Thank you. But yeah, fast forward a little bit. They got pregnant. We moved to Brooklyn when I was born there, and they had to figure out jobs, that could pay the bills and support some kids, and so they weren't acting anymore. But there was, always like a respect, interest, passion, for that stuff.
So if I saw you, like, your bedroom walls and like at 14 or 15, did you have movie posters up? Were there actors you were already getting obsessed with? Like, what were the first kind of...
Yeah, that was like Scorsese and Mean Streets and Goodfellas and PTA and Boogie Nights, and like that was that time for sure. Yeah.
That must have been something then to get to know Macy at some point, the PTA connection.
Yeah.
Did you at some point, like year 3, start to like...
I asked him immediately, and he gave me nothing. It was so upsetting. I was like, what can you tell me about Paul Thomas Anderson?
Yeah.
Like, I'm so excited. You're so great in Magnolia and Boogie Nights and da-da-da. And he was like, oh, he's great.
Come on.
And I was like, come on, man. I'm 18. I'm so excited. But he wouldn't give it to me. Yeah.
Have you seen the new PTA yet?
I haven't seen it yet.
I think you're going to love it.
I know. I'm just hearing so many. It's so funny. I keep going to like I saw Eben and Io the other night, and they had both seen it. And I feel like they were angry I was hanging out with them because all they wanted to do was discuss it.
Right. Come
and
back
I
to
was
us in 3
ruining.
hours.
Yeah, I would like go to the bathroom, and they'd like fit in as much as they could.
I think especially as a PTA fan and a girl dad.
Yeah. It's going to be a big one,
I think it's going to be a big one for you.
Okay, I'm excited.
Have you ever met PTA? Have you had that meeting?
No, I have not had that meeting. I've seen him around. I live in the Valley, and that's where he grew up, obviously, and I think he lives somewhere around there because I see him at this restaurant near my house occasionally, but I always, he's like reading the paper, and I'm like, I won't
too much
invade that space. Yeah.
So do you remember, like, when you start to act professionally in your teens, like, was there a first name actor or name filmmaker that was exciting for you to work with? Like, who were the first kind of like people of note that you clocked and maybe learned something from?
I think like Pacino was huge for me. That was also my acting teacher in high school. That was kind of his guy, and
oh wow.
And the Pacino had his start in theater, and that's kind of where I thought I was gonna exist, I guess, for a long time. I think my hope was, I'll get out of high school, I'll be able to do a play or two, maybe like a cool, independent film. And I'd been really lucky. My first movie was this movie with Antonio Campos, who I love, and him and Sean Durkin and Josh Mond had this collective Borderline Films, and So I was like, I'll do some plays, I'll do a movie with those guys,
Yes.
and I'll do like 3 episodes of Law and Order.
Which you did, I think.
And yeah, and that'll be my year every year.
Yes.
And that was kind of my that was my hope.
Are you simultaneously, I guess this is before Shameless, of course, like, are you doing, I don't even know if pilot season was like in its heyday then, but like, are you going to LA and going up for kind of like, because here's the thing that strikes me, like, Shameless is such a lucky break in that, like, you could have been on something for 7-8 years that was kind of devoid of any, like, artistic
Totally.
merit. Like, you could have just been caught into the gears of that system.
Yeah.
And it just so happens Shameless was a really cool one.
Yeah. I mean, I was also, I was with a smaller agency, and I mean, they were lovely, but, they would send me out for everything, and I was already very kind of like discerning.
Yes.
And they were like, what business do you have
You're 17
saying
years
no
old.
to, like, it's not a yes or no situation. You haven't even been invited to the party.
Right.
Like, you can't say no. And I was like, yeah, but I don't think
Like,
this
I've
one's
done
for me.
3 episodes of Law and Order,
Exactly.
so I think I'm good, guys.
Exactly. So I wouldn't audition a lot, and they were probably going to drop me at some point soon. But I would occasionally go to Los Angeles and do that like testing, like stay in that hotel near Universal City and test for something. And then eventually it was Shameless. But before then, I worked at Susan Shopmaker Casting for a long time here in New York. So I was going to school, and I was working at Susan Shopmaker Casting. She had put me in after school when I was 16. And then I worked as a reader, really
must be
for a
valuable to
long
see the other
time.
side of things, I
Yeah,
would
with
imagine.
Susan. Yeah.
Were there any auditions in those years that, whether you got the part or not, that really made an impact on you? Just getting in the room, having the experience of meeting a filmmaker you admired that stand out?
Yeah, I mean, I remember I auditioned for, it was a very small part in the assassination of Jesse James, and so I got to meet Andrew
Dominic.
Yeah. And that was a really big one for me. I had loved his first film with Eric Bana.
Yes. We're both blanking.
Oh no.
Oh no. Someone.
Chopper.
You got
yes.
it. You got it.
And so I was really excited for that one. And yeah, like I'm sure there were other great kind of directors in the beginning there that I got in the rooms with, but that one comes to mind, yeah.
So you get Shameless. Is that an exciting, like, do you see the opportunity of that immediately? Was it as exciting as it seemed on paper to get it?
Yeah. I mean, I had been obviously a fan of, Bill Macy's for such a long time.
Right.
And so I felt with him at the helm, that was huge.
Yeah.
John Wells has, he's such a legend in television, so I was really excited that he was doing it. Mark Mylod directed the pilot, who has gone on now to do Succession. He's doing the Harry Potter series, and he made a great film, The Menu. But at the time, all he had done was Entourage, and that was a show in high school that I was very engaged with. So yeah, it was like across the board, very exciting. And the material, I watched the English series. I really loved the English series. I had so much fun, especially in the first 4-5 years. I had like a blast on that show.
That must have been your first experience also in like encountering some degree of celebrity and people almost, I don't know, did people confuse you with the character? Did you find people were encountering you as Lip as much as Jeremy out in the wild? And was that a wake-up call in some ways?
Yeah, but I think I wanted them to when I was young. In a way, like I think I was like, I don't know, projecting all the time, like a version of myself that was probably a bit further away from me than I knew at the time. But now in retrospect, I'm able to go, oh, that really wasn't me. I was just kind of trying to do this thing for a long time.
Sweet. What were you trying, tell me more. What are you projecting, you think?
I don't know. I think, at the time, I was so into I was really into Sean Penn and Pacino and De Niro and all these guys. And from what I'd gathered, I mean, I know that they care so much about their art, but all the rest of it, they seemed so kind of like beyond it.
Yeah.
And I think I tried to get a little bit of that like devil may care sort of deal, but I did care like so much.
The true acting performance was burying that all the way down.
Exactly.
And being too cool for school a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, there was something like that going on in my early 20s and late teens for sure.
I think for someone in their 20s, that's like a little artistic insecurity of kind of overcompensation.
Totally.
It totally clocks.
I forgive myself.
Yes, we forgive you too.
Thank you.
So you've talked about this before. I mean, the transition out of Shameless, which is this giant period of your life, and literally a transition from like a young man to a man.
For sure, yeah.
This pivot point coming out of that and into The Bear is kind of like an existential, artistic, human crisis you kind of had to like get through a little bit. I don't know if I'm overstating it.
No, not at all. Yeah. I mean, I did ADR for the last episode of Shameless at Warner Brothers. I was driving home on Mulholland, and I had to pull over because I was having a panic attack. That show was so consistent for me. I knew where I was going to be every year. I had a community and a family and people I loved and that loved me and understood me. And now I was looking into a lot of unknown. I had, my oldest daughter, Ezzy, was 2. My youngest had just been born, and I was like, we gotta keep this going, And yeah, it was a difficult time, but I went kind of directly into, the Bear.
So Chris Storer, the creator of The Bear, you'd worked with to a degree on The Rental, right? Nice film that Dave Franco directed. Shout out to Dave.
Shout out to
Good
Dave.
guy. Talk to me a little bit about like reading Carmi the first time, talking to Chris.
Yeah.
Sounds like it took some convincing only in that you didn't want to like, another Chicago show, another series. But like,
I think the fact that it was in Chicago is just such a...
Like, really?
I
We're
was
doing this
like,
again?
Dang.
Of all the cities. It's a great city, but
No, it's an
really?
amazing city, but so the Chris thing was funny. I think I've told this story before. Maybe it's just been with people in passing, but Chris was like a co-producer on The Rental. He's good friends with Dave and was helping out, and we shot that maybe between seasons 8 and 9 of Shameless, and I didn't really know Chris. We didn't talk a whole lot to each other, but I saw him around, and he comes up to me on one of my last week of shooting, and he goes, "Hey, buddy, what do you think you're going to be doing in like 2 years?" And I was like, I don't know. I think I got a couple more years of the show I'm doing. I think probably we're going to go a little bit longer. He goes, "Okay, you know what? I'm going to give you a call in 2 years." Right. And I'm like, "Okay, guy,
This is the classic Hollywood
sure
conversation.
Thing. Yeah,
I'm going to write
absolutely.
something for you."
Yeah, exactly. And to his credit, 2 years on the dot. He called me. We had a Zoom. We talked about the show, and I told him, I'm finishing up the 11th season of Shameless, and I don't know if I want to jump right back into a TV show, but please send me the script, and I want to read it. And it was so good, and it was so rich and textured, and Chris is so smart, and the way he spoke about it was so elegant and beautiful. But yeah, I think I was just bumping up against, there was some family dynamics and traumas, and then also we're in the city of Chicago, and I just spent so much time there. And so that was my only kind of hesitance during that time. But then I think I was just like, who am I to pass on something that's so rich, and I need to see where this goes, I guess.
Do you remember the early days on set with Eben had been around, but he, again, wasn't like a star in any real way, but actors loved him.
Totally.
Io, of course, people didn't really know at the time. Do you remember those early days? Do you idealize kind of we immediately were tapping into something? There was something those first weeks that felt special.
Yeah, it was really remarkable. I mean, it was also this funny thing where, the script was great for the pilot, but I remember we had one table read for our show, and it was for the pilot, and it did not read well. And it took 7 minutes because everybody was speaking so quickly, and the transitions weren't clear, and so I think everybody was a little bit what do we have? But it's a credit to Chris and his direction, and also the feeling that he kind of gave us all, that feeling of excitement, and yeah, I think everybody's chemistry and everybody's showing up and caring so much immediately. You're right, Liza had done theater for a very long time.
Right.
She hadn't really had her moment yet. Lionel hadn't done very much. Io hadn't done very much. Eben had done some stuff, and I had Shameless and some stuff, but nobody was gonna anchor this thing as that's the star, you know what I mean? But I think that made everybody show up and just be so, we just took advantage and we cared so much, you know.
Do you get as much as an actor out of, I mean, the show has this juxtaposition of like these like frenetic, insane sequences, and then these like quiet moments, just you, like smoking can be as poignant as anything.
Yeah.
Do you get something out of both? It seems like the fans do, like they like love both ends of it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the rhythm of a kitchen, and I think that rung very true, and I think really, you know, early on, I spotted the parallels of making a film and getting that food out, you know. So I was familiar with that sort of like that sense of urgency, that anxiety. You know, we're rushing to get that magic hour shot.
Yep.
You're looking at the clock all the time, and then there's those you're kind of like holding your breath all the time. And then there's the exhale. And so much of The Bear for me is like it's in breath. It's like, you know, that tightness and then that release, you know.
Do you feel comfortable? You're essentially like our avatar of anxiety, I feel like.
Yeah.
Thanks to Carmi and even some of your other roles. Like it feels like we project, like, I think that's a lot of the connection that people feel in these times for this show and that character in particular.
Well, it's common, isn't it, these days, to have those feelings, I guess, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, do you look at yourself in the mirror like I have resting sad face? I have resting like people can see into me like something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if I hide stuff very well.
Yeah.
I guess maybe that's something like I like.
Well, that's a gift as an actor that you can do a lot without doing much sometimes. Yeah.
Like I feel like it's easy to like. I can get busted very easily sometimes. You know, like if I'm feeling something, it's hard for me to. It's hard for me to hide it, I guess. Yeah.
So I was, when I ran into Chris the other day, he was talking about how like shocking, he's still shocked about how the show has resonated and like the fans. I mean, it must have redefined like what success was. Again, like Shameless is by most standards a huge successful show.
Yeah, we did it for so long. Yeah, totally.
But this is a whole different level of cultural, you know.
Yes, the significance I think culturally was remarkable.
And did you feel that relatively early on, like out in the world at Starbucks, like did things change?
Yeah, out of the gate, you know, even in those first couple weeks, I was in New York at the time, and I felt it immediately going out. I mean, Shameless was such a big show. Obviously, we were able to do it for so long, but I felt like it was like, I don't know, if I was walking around like Williamsburg or something, I might not get recognized that much. Right. Or if I was walking around downtown Manhattan, I wouldn't get recognized that much. Or even in LA sometimes, you know. And then when The Bear happened, even in those first couple weeks, I was like, oh, this is like people are following me around and people are really interested and people were discovering me for the first time, which was cool because before that it was just Shameless, and I think there was like a lot of people who didn't know what that show was that found this show, you know.
I assume you're like most human beings in that you eat probably 2 to 3 times a day. So every opportunity, I feel like, is an opportunity for someone to like make some joke if you're out in public eating. It's like, yes, chef, let me show you the kitchen, let me send you over some food. Yeah. Like it must be such a constant because of the nature of what people connect to on that show.
As long as I can get a reservation last minute and I get some free food, they can joke around as much as they like.
The rest can come.
Yeah, exactly. It's okay with me.
Then there are the other ancillary interesting things associated with celebrity. Like how many friends have sent you photos of themselves like posing in front of like Calvin Klein billboards over the last couple of years?
Yeah, for sure. That was a big one. I mean, you know, I grew up in New York. That billboard, you know, I've seen all the iterations, all the different models, celebrity and otherwise. It's like it's an iconic street. It's an iconic billboard. Yeah, it was insane. It felt like to have that in my city was like, you know, was major.
But it is, again, like to my point of like, you know, you've been doing this a minute.
Yeah.
And to all of a sudden be like regarded in this different way must be a bit of a mind fuck in some great ways and also some complicated ways. Like what have been kind of like your ways of preserving yourself mentally, emotionally with like what is a very unusual circumstance for a human being to be like, you know, internet boyfriend material or whatever the fuck we call this now. Like
yeah, I mean there's two things I think, you know, I'm very lucky, you know, I started acting when I was 14.
Yeah.
So while to many it might seem that I got shot out of a cannon, that's not the case. It's been a very like gradual build. and also, there was this big timepiece on Bruce Springsteen that came out a couple weeks ago, and John Landau said this thing talking about show business, and he said, show business can be such a fun life. It can be so rewarding, but it has to be a part of a much bigger life. It can't be a substitution.
Yes.
And I think, I've reached some kind of other level after I've had 2 kids.
Yes.
After my life has gotten very big and my concerns have changed and what matters to me really has changed. And so I feel very lucky in a lot of ways that, my life feels a lot bigger than this. And I have to imagine those younger actors, performers, artists, whatever, who hit it really big at 16, 17, 18, 19.
Yeah.
I have to imagine it's got to be very confusing and difficult, you know?
And I would imagine also, like, you've been through a lot, personally and professionally. Like, you probably couldn't have done Springsteen 5 years ago, like before The Bear, before what you kind of like, from an actor perspective and a celebrity perspective, that has given you such a shift in perspective, I would imagine.
Yeah, but that was another reason this job was, again, Springsteen was hard to say. It was hard to finally commit to because I knew what it was going to take. I knew how demanding it was going to be, not just in the preparation, but kind of like staying close to him and somewhat close to his sort of like feeling and headspace during that time that we're portraying in the film. And I was there was really just a, that thing of I'm going to miss my kids and I'm going to miss home and it's going to be hard. And I'm not going to have a lot of time to myself, and I knew that. I knew it was going to take a lot, and it was just about that choice. Like, can I forfeit these couple months and really commit myself?
Yeah. So I do want to mention a couple of things. We talked about working with Austin. This on paper is right up my alley. Whatever.
It's really cool. I haven't seen much of it yet, but it's a really cool movie.
So reference points are like it's two characters. What is it? One a cop, one a
Yep, cop and killer.
Cop and killer.
Yep.
You're talking Heat on the set. You're talking
We're talking
Michael
Heat.
Mann.
We're talking Melville. We're talking Suzuki. We're talking like a
So
real.
who's the good guy? Who's the bad guy?
Well, I don't know. You guys have to decide for yourselves. But I play.
In practical terms, who's
yeah,
actually...
I play the cop, and Austin plays the killer in the film.
Amazing. What you're going to be appearing in a way in the new Star Wars film.
Yeah.
So were you a Star Wars kid? Like, how did
I watched all the
not
films
be.
and stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, but I'm not the most knowledgeable.
I'm not going to put you to the
Yes.
test.
Yeah. Okay.
That will come on that junket.
Yeah. I know.
Get ready.
I'll get ready. Yeah.
So when they come to you, I don't know if it's Favreau reaches out and says, "Hey, do you want to be Jabba the Hutt's son?" Like, how does that? Is that literally the kind of the text, email, phone call?
It was pretty chill the way it happened. I met John at a party. And I've loved Jon Favreau for so long. I mean, Swingers was huge. Maid was
great.
huge.
Yep.
Chef is so great.
Yes,
Elf. I mean, he's really a legend.
Yep.
But Swingers and Maid, particularly in my youth, I was like, oh wow. And he was like, do you want to do something on this movie? And you ever seen The Mandalorian? I was like, oh yeah, it's a great show, and you do such a great job. And yeah, I like Star Wars. Like, yeah, let's talk about it. And he made it seem very chill, and he was like, you're going to play Jabba the Hutt's son. You'll come in. It's just voice stuff, we're not going to take any scans. You're not going to do any of that stuff. And we'll just come in for half a day and read some stuff. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. But they hadn't shot any of the movie yet, really.
Oh, wow.
So I'm just kind of like reading some stuff, trying to put it together. I remember calling him the night before and being like, I was watching some of the movies before, getting ready, but I was like, is there anything in particular you want me to watch, or what do you want me to to really learn? Is there something I should know? And he was like, no, just come on in and do the thing, and I did, and then a year passed, and they'd shot the movie, and he was like, we've got some more stuff for you to do, and I think I realized that they really fleshed that character out a little bit, and I might be in more of that movie than I had realized originally.
But I assume the voice is. Jabba has a very specific way of speaking. So are you doing you're like ho 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 like that kind of like that whole thing?
No, I was like, what kind of vocal work do you want me to do? Like, do you want me to bring in? And I was doing some stuff, but he was also like, we're gonna mess with it, I haven't heard the finished product. I haven't seen the film, so it's hard for me to talk about it too much. But
and then Social Reckoning. I know you haven't shot yet. You're going to be reteaming with Jeremy.
Yeah.
Mikey Madison.
Yes.
Sorkin.
Yes.
This is a good group to be
it's
with.
a good group. It's a good group. That's what I look for. Good groups.
And this is the only thing an actor can do is surround yourself with the best, and they're going to bring out the best in you.
Totally.
So Sorkin script reads like fire, I would imagine.
Incredible. It's remarkable how sort of how lengthy and sort of like it should be confusing. His writing sometimes, especially when he's writing about worlds that you might not be incredibly familiar with.
There's a lot of information in there.
There's a lot of information.
Yeah.
But the writing is so good that even an idiot like myself can kind of pick up on what's going on. There's not a lot of guesswork as like, well, what's going on with this character and what's happening? Like everything's very clear, everything's very quick, everything's very funny. I grew up watching The West Wing with my dad, and that was like a John Wells connection, and now a Sorkin connection. I love Sorkin, and I hope Jeremy and I can do a movie together every October from now on.
This is a good tradition to start.
Yeah.
Some random stuff for you. You're a tattoo guy, yes?
Sure.
Are they all like connected to? Are any of them connected to work, or is it all like family? What's the criteria at this point?
It's kind of all family. I'm trying to think, like family and love and family. Yeah. I really thought a long time about getting something for lip when it was ending. But then I'm like, I can't go down that road because I feel like if I start it, then
Right.
What are we gonna do?
I mean,
just
you're
get
not
something for
doing it for
everybody.
Bruce?
I don't
I mean,
want. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I might be done. Yeah.
The first time someone sends you a meme or a photo of you and Gene Wilder, is that like, oh, Jesus, or like, oh, I see it, that's kind of funny, like?
I see it for sure, and I love Gene Wilder. He's a legend.
Of course.
Yeah, like I take no issue. But I do think there was something going around. I think people were convinced that I was actually related to the man, which is not the truth.
Okay, we'll set the record straight.
Go ahead
Why
and
are you
say that
denying
now.
it so much? It sounds
I know it's a
suspect the
little
way
weird. Yeah.
So give me your short list right now, like actor, filmmakers, if I could will into existence a meeting, anything, like who are you just admiring as a film lover right now?
Zach Crager, I really, really loved Weapons.
Yeah.
He's, obviously only made a couple films, but he's great. Paolo Sorrentino, I got to meet at Telluride, which was really exciting because I've kind of been talking about him for years.
Cool.
The Great Beauty is one of my all-time favorites. Andrea Arnold is one of my favorites. I love her so much, and I'm so interested in her process. Lars, one of our producers on Enemies, has worked with her before, and I just talked to him kind of about American Honey and that process a whole lot.
I talked to Barry about Bird. I feel like there wasn't a script. Like I think it's right. It's pretty
totally
loose.
Yeah.
Does that intrigue you? Have you ever worked in that way on a project?
No, and it sounds like she doesn't have there's no schedule really. You just kind of show up in the morning, and it's kind of like based around location, and it's all very like free form, and that sounds really exciting. Barry, I love.
Yes.
He's the best.
Yeah.
I love that guy. There's so many young guys. Like, it's so nice. I went to go see Harris's movie at Telluride, Urchin, and I was sitting next to his manager. And anyway, I love that movie so much, and I'm such a fan of Harris's, and it's just so nice. Like, I feel like this young group of actors are so like I just love them and I want them to succeed and I want to do more stuff with them. And I don't know if that was always like how this went.
No, it strikes me from the outside looking in, because I've talked to all of you guys. You've all done the podcast, Harris and Paul Mescal.
Yeah.
And it's like this really cool group that not only has like such good film taste that is in it for the right reasons, but also seems to be rooting each other on. Like,
totally.
It's a good crop you're in.
It feels nice. Yeah, it definitely feels nice. There's like some cheerleaders, and everybody's each other's kind of cheerleader.
Yeah. Like back in the day, like Schwarzenegger and Stallone were like out pumping each other like for movies.
Yeah.
It's a different vibe.
I'm trying to think, who's our, I don't know.
You did talk about at one point. I know, like, the Marvel stuff and the blockbuster stuff always comes up.
Yeah.
That you had a meeting for a Marvel-y kind of a thing.
That was out of line. I was like, that was again me sort of not being entirely invited to the party and being like, I don't even want to go anyway. But I did, yes, I had a meeting that I probably could have handled differently,
Yeah.
for sure. And I think I was just like, first of all, I don't really know, it's not like a bag on the genre as much as it is like, I don't know what I can give
How you fit
to
into
it
that,
really,
and-
or how I fit into it. And also, I think there was a period where sort of like being in one of those films guaranteed, like, you can get any movie made. And
This
if you
is exactly
find
what
a
I was
script
saying.
on the
Yeah,
street
yeah.
and you take that around to people and you love it, you can get it made. And I just don't know if that's how it's working anymore.
It's
you know?
not.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
not. Objectively,
Yeah.
it's not. That's what we were saying. The playing field has changed so much in the last 5-10 years.
Totally.
That being said, I've seen the fan cast of you as Wolverine. I think
Yeah.
you'd be a really cool Wolverine.
Oh, that's nice, man. Yeah. I mean, that performance is great. He's done it for so long. He's really excellent. That's nice. And that was like, I'm not a big superhero like movie guy, but X-Men was correct me if I'm wrong, but that was like,
Yeah, X-Men, Spider-Man, early on.
those were the
ones that-
early
yeah.
ones. And so, of course, I loved all those movies. Yeah.
All right, we're going to end with the happy, sad, confused, profoundly random questions for you, Jeremy.
Okay, cool.
Are you a dog or a cat person?
Dog.
Do you have one currently?
No. I grew up with dogs.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got to fix that. What do you collect, if anything? Besides battered hats. That
I was going to
Springsteen
say, I
gives
do have a
you.
lot of hats. I used to collect coins when I was young, but it's been a long time. But maybe I should get back into it. Maybe there's some real money there. And we make some investments,
Yeah,
you know?
I think, Bitcoin I hear is great.
Yeah.
Favorite video game of all time?
Oh, probably Grand Theft Auto. Yeah.
This is the Dakota Johnson Memorial question. She asked me this once. I ask everybody, would you rather have a mouthful of bees or one bee in your butt?
I didn't know Dakota. That's so funny.
It's a lot to process, I know.
But, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's the correct
99%
answer?
is
Yeah.
yes, that's the correct answer. Yeah. What's the wallpaper on your phone?
My daughter is Ezzy and Louie.
Nice. The last actor you were mistaken for?
I don't get I think my face is so strange. It's very difficult for people to confuse me with other people. But I do all the time. Like, I get people really excited to meet me from, like, Shameless days.
Sure.
And they'll be like, yo, Carl, or yo, Liam.
Right.
Liam Gallagher's my favorite, like, you know. And I'm just like, that's not my...
Yeah.
You're thinking of a different character. You know?
To wrap up our therapy session, you think you look strange? Your face is strange? You're not happy with your face, you're saying?
My face?
Yeah.
I love my face. I just think it's very distinct. I don't get confused for people very
I see.
often, I guess, you know.
There's
Yeah.
only one Jeremy Allen White.
There you go.
Worst note a director has ever given you?
Smile more. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
In the spirit of happy, sad, confused, an actor who always makes you happy. You see them on screen, you're in a better mood.
Ooh. Bill Murray.
Nice. What's your go-to Bill Murray? What's your Mount Rushmore?
Probably Lost in Translation, which
Yep.
isn't his, like, you know, necessarily.
Funniest, but still.
But I think to watch that movie, even in a sad, like,
Yeah.
it's like, you feel like you're not alone, I
Yeah.
guess I should say. Yeah.
It's another film about loneliness, like
Totally.
Springsteen's Over Me From Nowhere, double bill.
Totally.
Connecting
Yeah,
it.
Excellent double bill.
And a movie that makes you sad?
I mean, I saw Hamnet in Telluride, and I haven't been that devastated walking out of a theater. And I saw them after, and it was embarrassing because I was like, I didn't have anything for them. Right. And I wish I could have talked to them later about it.
Right.
You know. And I'd done something with Jessie before, and I know her, and I wanted to just be like, "You're the greatest," because she is.
Yeah.
But instead, I was just kind of like, you know, it was really bad. Hopefully I'll find her soon, be able to talk to her about
They're
it.
probably going to get a lot of that, just people just like seeing them and just bursting into tears.
Totally, yeah.
A food that makes you confused. You don't get it.
I'm like, do I get myself into trouble here?
It's not. What could
Like
possibly?
these like pizza's thin. This like Chicago
Oh, yeah.
thick, like
You have
it's
strong
too
pizza
bready.
views. Yeah.
We don't need all that bread. You
Right.
can't be doing all this. It's
Where are you on
crazy.
Detroit style? The whole.
Detroit's thin and rectangular, right?
Right. Well,
Like
yeah.
pub style.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
that right?
yeah.
Can be like cracker thin. One of my favorite places in Chicago is Vito and Nick's. It's pub style, which I think is like Detroit.
Yeah.
And it's almost like a cracker, and then you've got the cheese and the toppings and the sauce.
Right.
And that's like
That's okay
excellent.
with you. That's a
total-
vehicle.
That's like
a vehicle
wonderful.
to put stuff on.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Pineapple on pizza.
Not for me. I mean, do your thing, I guess. If you're weird.
I'm not going to hang out with
Yeah,
you, but
yeah,
sure.
yeah. I'm not gonna stop you.
Am I gonna see you on the stage here at some point? Is that on the list?
I would love to do that. I really would. Yeah. It's hard now with the young kids that are in
Yes.
school in LA.
Yeah.
But yes, if I could find like a summer, like
6
3-month
weeks,
run
8
or something like
weeks,
that, totally.
limited.
I would love to. Yeah.
I'm glad this happened. I'm glad this happened for this film. It's a really special one, man.
Thank you.
Congratulations to you, to Scott, to everybody involved. Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. Keep collecting your Springsteen merch. Next time I see you, it's
I
going
will.
to
My
be
Springsteen memorabilia.
wall to wall.
Yeah.
No, honestly, man. Congratulations on this, and thank you for the time today.
I really appreciate you. Nice talking to you, man.
And so ends another edition of Happy, Sad, Confused. Remember to review, rate, and subscribe to this show on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. I'm a big podcast person. I'm Daisy Ridley, and I definitely wasn't pressured to do this by Josh.